Hi, it's Matt, and this video is about a recent trip I did to Fraser Island. And I launched at Riverheads in Hervey Bay, took the barge over to Kingfisher Bay Resort, and as you can see, it was an absolutely gorgeous day. I just shot this photo of a yacht as it sailed past, and it just summed up the trip over. It was absolutely fantastic. So I've left Kingfisher Bay Resort on our way to Lake Wabi. Beautiful forest to drive through. Unfortunately, these tracks are one way and they do get a little bit busy at times. I was lucky enough to have just gone past this little exit that you can see here and was able to back up and let this guy through. So this is the view from the lookout looking down over Lake Wabi, and it's a couple of K walk down to the actual lake through the forest. It was actually a really nice walk and really refreshing to get down there and have a swim afterwards. It was a really nice day. So I'm at Lake Wabi. It's a gorgeous spot, great place to have a swim, and I'm just looking around. There's these shadows moving around, so put the GoPro under the water, and here's some footage of these catfish. The freshwater catfish, there's quite a few of them. They just seem to be chilling out doing their own thing, and yeah, I thought it was really cool. Alright, so here I am at Eli Creek. It was a little bit deep for me. I don't have a snorkel fitted to my vehicle. However, didn't seem to worry the bus. He got through, piece of cake. This guy in the patrol was peachy keen, so he went through, and I thought, might just leave it a little bit longer. In the meantime, might as well go for a swim. So here I am just jumping in here at Eli Creek. A little bit hard to second the girl in to have a swim. She puts a toe in and goes, too cold for me. So I had a nice little drift down. Really refreshing way to start the day, and actually killed about an hour just floating around in this creek. Previous trips at Eli Creek, I've seen all sorts of things, freshwater shrimp, freshwater eels, the odd turtle. However, this day, nothing to be found. There was a big busload of tourists that had just gone through, so maybe they'd scared everything away. Still refreshing though, and an awesome place to cool down. Okay, so I'd been loitering around in Eli Creek for a couple of hours, just having a great time, and yeah, thought we'd cross. The tide had dropped a lot. As you can see, it's really quite shallow. One gentleman, however, had gone through a little bit early when the tide was high, and his vehicle made a loud bang when he went through, and he was still there when we left a couple of hours later, so certainly not worth putting your vehicle at risk just for a couple of hours to push through. So this is what's left of the Maheno shipwreck. It actually washed up on Fraser Island in 1935. It was being towed up from Sydney, broke its attachment to the ship during a cyclone, and washed up on Fraser. It's a bit of an icon of the eastern beaches. I'd recommend that you get here and have a bit of a look at it at low tide. That's probably when you're going to be travelling up and down the eastern beaches anyway, but at low tide you can get around, have a good look at it from all around the place, and yeah, it's just a fantastic sight at low tide. So this is Indian Head. I'd driven past it earlier on in the day and it was just covered in tourists, so I thought, oh, I'll come back a little bit later on. Managed to have it to myself, and it's a fantastic spot, great views, and I always like to see how long it takes me to spot a shark, and this day it didn't take that long. There was about a 7-foot bronzy swimming around and just doing their own thing, and plenty of turtles, manta rays. It's just a great spot to get a view of the marine life that visits Fraser Island. Alright, so this is Nagala Rocks, probably one of the things that stop most people making it up to the Sandy Cape. This is just north of Indian Head, and I've been waiting for about an hour just to just so the water dropped a bit to get down there. It wasn't low tide yet, it was actually a couple of hours from low tide, but if you can just wait until you can just get through. As you can see, I had to drive through a little bit of salt water. That just gives you enough time though to get up to the cave, have a bit of a look around at the lighthouse, the graves, have a swim, and then get back down so that you don't have to worry about crossing this at high tide, because you simply can't without driving through a lot of salt water. Alright, so this is the Sandy Cape. I've been trying to get up here for a while and finally got there. Gorgeous day, plenty of things to do, great place to have a bit of a swim. As you can see, it seemed to be a little bit more protected there than on the eastern beaches further south. And you've got the lighthouse to walk up to, there's some grave sites and bunkers, and yeah, it's just a fantastic spot up the far northeastern corner of Fraser Island. So this is the journey south, and this is the most challenging part of the whole trip, I would say. We've just come back from the Sandy Cape, heading back towards Indian Heads, and we've just gone through Nacala Rocks, and this upward section was very, very soft. As you can see in the video, it's very soft. However, the car just seemed to push through it, and which was fantastic. Didn't get bogged at all the whole trip, and people actually ask me all the time what I think of the Amarok, and I've had it for nearly 2 years now, and I love it. I think it's a great vehicle. I had a Hilux before that, which was an awesome vehicle as well, yeah, really like the Amarok. No Fraser Island video would be complete without some footage of the bingo. I was just driving down the beach, come across this little guy, and unfortunately it was a little bit disturbing to see how skinny he was actually, but apparently this is quite normal when they're young like this guy is. They're still figuring out how to forage for food and whatnot. Here's a little bit of footage of an old abandoned airstrip. Gets a little bit shaky here as I've actually climbed up on top of this tower. Get a fantastic view, and don't think too many people know about this little spot. I'm not going to really point it out for you, however I'll give you a bit of a tip. If you have a look on Google Maps, you can easily see it from the satellite. That's how I found it. It's quite a narrow track to get in there. I've scratched up the car a bit on some banks, which wasn't a lot of fun. However, the view was fantastic.